Okay, so I've been designing like an idea for a controller that should be like super accessible. So as you can see, it's heavily based off of the Wii remote. So I'd have 4 face buttons, a left stick, those things, and then it would have 2 triggers, a sensor bar. Well, not a sensor bar, but a sensor for the bar. Yeah. So like, the reason we have the sensor in there is because when using like one of these to aim, it doesn't have a sensor at the front, and it is more it's more sensitive to wrist movements than it is like overall movements, which isn't the case for something with a sensor bar, because like it's not using gyro to figure out where you're pointing, it's using light. But it would still have like gyro in it and like accelerometers and all that good stuff. And then the secondary, like, also, so I'll explain the accessibility after I explain the layout. So the secondary part of the controller just has stick and D-pad, and then like standard like these buttons, So the main 2 ideas for this controller are to do really well are motion aiming for people who prefer that, and like the ability to like swap hands, like which hand you're using, because like with like an Xbox controller or like even the Nintendo Switch, like if you want to use it like left-handed, like you can use that as the look button, but then if you want to like jump, you have to stop moving unless you like switch your button configuration, and like that's never been a problem with Wii controllers. So if we just like update them and mix them with what already works about other controllers, then yeah. So we do the aiming that way, and then like got the left-handedness of it. It would also have 2 USB ports. It would have a USB port down here to plug the secondary controller in, and it would have a USB-C port to charge it. Yeah, and you could like put it sideways, and that's why the buttons are skewed. So if you're like playing an old NES game or something, then like it doesn't feel as uncomfortable as like the NES controller or the Wii sideways. I'm trying to determine whether or not I should like have like 4 buttons down there, so that when you have it sideways, you can like still emulate like Super Nintendo games or something, but like it's not like you have enough. I mean, you technically have enough bumpers for that, but you know what I mean. It's not so much for like every possible use case. It's more so for like helping people who can't use the most common use cases. As well as just being like really comfortable to use. So like, for example, one idea is like if you need to play the game with only like one hand, you can do that with just the primary controller. If you're playing like a Wii style FPS game, like you got like all the face buttons you need. You can use that to move, you can use the pointer to look around, and then like with all the extra buttons, you could like map it to stuff you need. So yeah, I'm working on setting up a prototype. I'm gonna be using a Wiimote with a right Joy-Con stacked on top of it, and then just using a left Joy-Con as the nunchuck, although I do want the left part to be shaped like a nunchuck whenever I finish it. What I'm just trying to figure out now is how to get all three of these together to work with Dolphin Emulator at the same time to achieve the effect I want. But once I figure that out, I will share how to set it up and recommend different types of mappings for trying different types of games so you can help me figure out how to make this work.